Okay, three, two, one. Let's go. Good morning, Mr. Keith Miles.
Good morning, good morning. How
I'm
are
glad you
you?
made it. I'm so happy. You are my guest on my podcast. And so, my podcast is called Fitness is the Art of Life.
Okay.
And how I kind of come to understand fitness as such is like I used to hang out a lot with bodybuilders,
Okay.
for many years when I started like getting into the gym and stuff. Actually, I got to know a few bodybuilders and they introduced me to all this stuff, and then I got the courses and school and all that. And do you agree? Like fitness is the art of life, especially from the
Fitness.
bodybuilding perspective when you have to balance all these things.
Yeah, it's a really good balance between your times that, you come to the gym, making time for the gym, getting in those good exercises, those good workouts, you know what I mean? Depending on your goal in fitness, it's like art because you could be a bodybuilder out there trying to, carve your body, or like trying to make your body look like something, and the opposite with, just working out, you're still trying to do the same thing, look good for the outside life, so
Right. I like when people use this metaphor when they are like comparing bodybuilder to a sculptor
yeah,
and your
yeah,
body to a
yeah.
sculpture.
Yeah. I definitely see that too. With because you're sculpting your body. It takes a little time. It takes a few years to see those results from yourself. But when you get other people telling you, you look a certain way and that you don't see, it's a really good look for you. So
Right. It's
yeah.
it's really a lot of effort. It's like lifelong process.
Oh, it really is. It really is. It takes. That's why I like it. It's you. It never ends. I
Mm.
feel like it's always another step in front. Because you're gonna always improve in every body part. You know,
You can always set the bar a little up
set the
higher.
bar a little. Yep.
I want to use this opportunity. You're the first athlete who's competing in bodybuilding that I'm interviewing on this podcast. And I have some people who listen who are not familiar with the physique sports, like
Mhm.
very closely. They just like to come to the gym, they just like their classes and maybe a little cardio, right? But so you as a person who is in it, can you explain to the listeners and viewers like what are the physique sports? Like to somebody who never heard of it.
Um. So they have bodybuilding,
Hmm.
classic, and then it's men's physique. And then I think for the women, it's women's physique, women's bodybuilding, and they have wellness for women. I think it's one more, but I'm not sure about the women. But women's physique is like more of a smaller type of physique for females. Like they're not looking for shreds like that. They're looking for more like a little, carved and everything. Like with bodybuilding, it's bigger physique.
Right.
Some women bodybuilders look bigger than some men bodybuilders, men's physique guys. So
Right.
and wellness is like more of like good glutes, like you know what I mean. Same
Like
thing, shreds, striations, and you know, and men's physique is like more like a board short beach type of look. I feel like over the years though it changed with the beach look. Now it's the men's physique guys are starting to look like and be the same size, weight as like classic guys. Like you know what I
right.
mean? Um, they definitely went past the men's physique look, like
Right.
from 2015, 16, 17. It definitely took a big change. Classic physique is like one of the newer, positions that they have
Category.
there,
Yeah.
and it's more like it's like a bodybuilding look, but the only thing that's different to me is the posing.
Hmm.
It comes in a little bit harder to do, like poses, and that's really what art looks like with classic physique. Art. If you look at classic physique, that's really art right there. Like every like
Yes.
people are doing like poses that you never seen before, and which in bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding is a little bit of, you know what's coming most of the time.
Right,
when it
right.
comes
It's like
down
front
to
bicep, back
front-
bicep.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
just the
yeah.
certain things.
They're not doing no crazy,
As where
things.
in what you're doing, it's more freedom in
So
the
so
pose.
me personally, so I'm doing men's physique, and this year will be my first year doing classic.
Right.
I want to just get comfortable with, switching over. So I'm still gonna stay in men's physique for now, but I'm gonna switch over to classic too. So I'm gonna do both shows.
Oh wow.
Show is June 3rd, and the next show is July 1st. So we
Say
got
it
2
again.
weeks.
June 3rd and
Yeah.
July 1st. So I want everybody to like really cross their fingers for Keith, because the show is coming. It's not easy. It's really challenging process to get ready for it.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, everybody's gonna back you up, and I want to have another interview with you after the show. So we're gonna talk
Yeah.
and then see how did it go.
Hopefully I got the victory, Yep.
Yeah. So, but let's go back up a little bit. So,
Yeah.
for some people, bodybuilding, and regardless of the category, it's like some people can kind of mistake it for like a beauty contest, because it is a sport,
Yeah.
but you don't really judge the performance,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not a speed, it's not a strength that you are judging, right?
Yeah.
It's literally the look of a person.
Yeah.
Even though there's so much work behind that look, to a person who's not familiar with this, like they are like, okay, so where's the sport part of it? That's the little difference than, for example,
Sports
track
part
and
of-
field or something like that, right?
It's competing is really, of course they're gonna say competing is not a sport, but bodybuilding as a whole is a sport.
It is, yes.
People, because they're not gonna call competing a sport because you're on stage. They're gonna make it like more of a model, or
Right,
like
right.
you're showing off yourself, more than like a sport type of thing. But like if you're doing bodybuilding is fitness. Everything is fitness. Like you building your body. So bodybuilding can mean anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to mean that you're a big bodybuilder and you do competitions. Bodybuilding mean you could be a regular person just coming into the gym and lifting weights. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's really what bodybuilding is. So I take bodybuilding as a sport as a whole, because you come here every day. You're putting your body through a workout, cardio, like you know what I mean. It's
I like seeing bodybuilding as a sport, and I don't know, a lot of people don't even know it, but there were like a big debates to even include bodybuilding into the Olympic Games. There were at
Oh,
times
yeah,
these
yeah,
conversations
yeah.
to bring
Oh,
it
yeah.
in,
oh yeah.
which it really indicates this as a sport. And I like also bodybuilding because it really teaches people about nutrition, about healthy regeneration, importance of sleep, and all that. A lot of sports
Yes.
don't even like talk about this stuff
Exactly.
in them, and this is like a wholesome thing,
Yeah.
right?
They do have like in Olympia. I think that they have the world's strongest man. All that. I think that's in Olympics.
That,
I'm
well, they
think
have
so.
powerlifting, that's for sure.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
powerlifting and
Yeah.
lifting up those heavy rock balls
Right.
and putting them on the rack, and like I feel like that's like an Olympic type of sport. I've seen it. I think
Yeah.
I've seen it on TV before, but other than that, like bodybuilding, they don't really. I don't think that they give bodybuilding the credit that it deserves. Calling it a sport, bodybuilding, not like what I do, like men's physique,
Right,
body
right.
like
But
that.
that's really offshoot of bodybuilding, just like more recent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, and because in those competition, it's not, nobody cares really how much you lift or whatever.
No way.
It's just solely depending on the group of judges, right? Sitting in front of the stage,
Yes.
and they're looking at the competitors, and depending on their judgment, they're gonna say, "I think this guy is better," or "This guy is better."
It's all about conditioning.
Right. So,
Conditioning
what are
and
the criteria that actually make somebody be the best at certain contest?
all judges are different, right? So when it comes down to being judged on your body and say your top two, right? Your body and someone else's body. Um, they're gonna look for fullness. They're gonna look for a lot of size on
What
your
does that mean,
chest.
fullness? Because some people might just not understand this vocabulary, right?
Okay. That so fullness is how full how your body looks like, full compared to flat. Like when you're flat, like you have no
The
no
muscles
water
have
in
this
you.
rounded oval
Muscles
shape.
are more bulkier when it's full, so compared to when you're flat. Muscles, you look a little flat. Like your chest looks flat. Like it's not coming out. It's not popping out to the judges.
Like 3D.
3D, yeah. But and I'm gonna say half of it is genetics too. When it comes down to being on stage and judges just looking at a good physique that has good genetics. Everybody doesn't have good genetics, so when it comes down to that, it's like it's like a pick from a lottery most of the time. Like you never know what could happen because
You have very good genetics.
yeah,
Because you have very tiny waist and pretty broad shoulders.
yeah, I actually don't think my waist is as small as people
Really?
think it is. I think it's only me putting a lot of weights on my upper body, making my upper body bigger, so it makes my waist look smaller.
Hmm.
But I definitely was gifted with like good genetics, and I just wanted to get better.
Right, right. And of course, there's all the hard work.
Yeah, it's
That-
hard.
You cannot just say that somebody has genetics and that's it that makes them champions. It's not enough.
I've been lifting weights for 9-10 years, so it's definitely. I started when I was in high school for last year of high school, and we still going at it. I started with calisthenics, just going to the park and doing pull-ups, push-ups, muscle-ups for like 3 years. Wasn't really taking it as serious, and then that's when I got a membership at the first it wasn't Maximus, it was Ultimate Fitness at the time,
Uh-huh.
and they switched it over to Maximus after a while. So
So what else judges really look at? So you said the fullness is important.
yes,
What else?
condition.
What does conditioning mean?
Conditioning is how much striations you have in your upper down to your lower body.
So in like a more digestible vocabulary, those stripes that you kind of see on the muscle.
The little stripes that you see on the muscles, like if you have like tight, really deep abs, they want all your muscles to be deep in.
So it's
Like,
almost
know,
like you see the fibers of the muscle,
Yes, exactly.
and that it's related
Skin is
to
like thin
right.
to where when you pinch it, it doesn't go back to its regular place for like a few seconds. Like that's how you know your condition is on
So
point.
basically, it's also how low your body fat is.
How low your body fat is.
And I think people don't understand how low bodybuilders go.
Oh yeah. And
Did you ever measure actually how low you were on your competitions ever in the past? Or-
I got I have at 2017 I was 6%.
6%. And when you are 6% body fat, even though it seems like the number indicates something, it looks like you have no fat on you. Like
No
literally.
fat, no fat.
That's
That
how
was-
it looks like.
That was my first year actually competing. First year, didn't have a coach, just went in there watching YouTube videos of how to diet, and
Wow.
I took a YouTube video and just made it into myself, how to like create a a good program for myself for giving myself like at least 8. I think I gave myself like 8 weeks to prep for the
Oh
show,
yeah,
and I've really till this day I still think that I was the most leanest I
really.
ever been. Like,
And were you already a trainer at the time?
no, I wasn't a trainer at the time. Yeah, I just really started being a trainer.
So you just liked it.
Yeah, I just liked it. Like, I got
Wow.
into like the eating side, and I was watching other people training, people here, and I was like, maybe I could just help others achieve what their goals in gyms.
Yeah. I definitely think as a person who competes, you can have a lot of requests from people who
Yeah,
kind
you
of
definitely
like
can. You
aspire
definitely
to
can.
go that way.
Because the social media, helps a lot.
Yeah.
It gets people out there. I know back then it's probably a little bit harder to get that first client or train
Yeah,
someone.
yeah.
So like we kind of got it made a little bit. Our
But also
generation.
now the competition is bigger because of social media. It's just a
Exactly.
lot of fitness people.
Exactly.
So
Everyone-
look, let's say you have the fullness, you have the conditioning, but it still doesn't make you a champion yet, right?
Mhm.
There are other factors, like for example, how you're presenting yourself on the stage.
Yes.
That's,
Posing.
This is where the
Posing.
art comes in.
Posing is just as important as stepping on stage and looking what the judges want to see, because you could look like what the judges want to see and lose because your posing is off. You don't have good, presented presentable posing. So when posing is like a key point for me, I pose like almost every day. Like every day I try to give myself at least 30 minutes, to step and pose. Just hitting my main, poses that judges are asking for, and yeah, I feel like that's one thing that can definitely get you from the low
Do
to the
you
high.
think? Because that's interesting kind of point. Because that, do you think because of that you have to kind of put yourself out there? Do you think bodybuilding is just reserved to people who are like extroverted, that they like to be outgoing and all that, or are you by yourself? Like, are you introverted more or extroverted?
I'm by myself more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work out with people. Like, I have certain people that I work out with, but most of the time I'm by myself, and just so because the gym is more for stress relieving and just stepping out of real life, a little bit. So when I get in here, I like to have the headphones in.
Right.
Not saying that I don't talk to people here, because and you can see me, and anybody that ever comes up to me, I always say hi, have a little conversation with them.
Right.
But I personally feel like the gym is for, just getting in there, getting it done.
Right. So if let's say there's someone who is like very introverted, they don't feel very comfortable like surrounded by a lot of people. That doesn't, make them good fit for the bodybuilding. They still can be good bodybuilders.
No, it's not about who you're comfortable around or how many people you're comfortable around. It's about what makes you happy at the end of the day.
Oh, that's a good one.
Bodybuilding makes you happy, you go for that.
Right.
If powerlifting makes you happy, you go for that. If just coming to the gym and lifting makes you happy, you go for that. You don't want to follow your negative mind, like, you know what I mean.
Expand on that. That's a good one.
Negative mind as in coming into the gym, or like just being in an environment around a lot of people wanting to leave or not comfortable, like, you know what I mean. You should definitely try to teach your body and your mind how to get used to it, because everything that you do that you're not good at, you're gonna get good at if you keep doing it. You just got to keep pushing forward and tell yourself every day that, like, you know, I got this. I know what I want to do, and I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's
prove
great.
people wrong. You know.
So it's almost like you don't dwell on the like negative energy, negative thinking.
I don't
You
know.
spend your energy just where your goals are
Yes.
and where your dreams are. What do you
Yes.
want to accomplish?
Whenever people tell me that, you know, I don't think that you could achieve this or that, I just put it into the gym, and I show people
Right,
most of
right,
the
right.
time, you know.
Oh, that's interesting. Um, if you agree, when we're gonna talk about like the posing, uh, I can kind of edit in a little of your posing routine into the podcast, so people can see what we're talking about when we're referring to
Yeah,
posing,
yeah, yeah.
because that's really a whole art of itself. And I saw you actually posing, and I think you're really good at it.
Yeah,
When
thank
you
you,
when you
thank
when you
you.
move, when you change the poses, it really looks almost like you're dancing. It's like a
Yeah,
whole choreography of it, whatever.
yeah. It's definitely
Excuse
a
me.
feel of the music. Um, Most of the time, I'm not listening to music, but you know, whenever I'm listening to music, it's music that I might use on stage.
Right.
So, like, I try to come up with a few routines to go with the music that I'm listening to. But, like, I feel like I can flow to any song, like, you know, fast, slow. I just hear the music, and I'm like, when I'm by myself, I definitely can flow. You know, I try.
But and even though in your category there's more freedom how you want to move, uh, I'm assuming that you still have to present uh, all the sides of your body. So they have to see your
Everything.
back muscles, your
Side
shoulders,
chest,
arms, side chest, front.
abdominals and thighs.
Right, right, right. So pretty much you have to present everything just like in the bodybuilding, but you have a little more freedom. You don't have to be sticking just to this specific poses, right?
Not Pacific poses. You can throw in a few favorite musculars in, you know, in your physique. So with classic and bodybuilding, which I kind of just someone just told me about it. Front lat spread and back lat spread. They don't do that in classic.
Oh,
They just do double by. They do double by and back double by. So that's the difference between classic and bodybuilding. You know. So I did not know that until, like, I think last week.
oh
So I
wow.
was hitting it in my. I wasn't hitting it in my posing routine, which I can hit it in my posing routine, but the judges are not gonna ask you to hit that pose. So,
Interesting.
you know,
Right. So you
just
also
to let people know, if you guys didn't know about that
right, right.
little difference in classic and bodybuilding.
Well, you're collecting experiences as you go, and yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. Did you ever like approach a judge and then say like, what are you looking into, like into
All the
a
time,
athlete,
every
like
show.
yeah? So you
every
come out
show.
like after the show is like, what do you really look into the
What do I have to
athlete?
improve on?
Right, right,
You
right.
know,
What's the feedback? How they respond to the questions like that?
it's kind of crazy because in my head I feel like they got so many people coming up to them and asking them the same question, right?
Right.
So, and they have so many people that they judging throughout the day, and you're asking them at the end of, you know, so it's like, I personally feel like they don't remember you most of the time unless you are in that top 5 call out. But Steve, who's the judge, Steve Bev's from Bev's gym,
The bald guy?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's you know, he's really good at telling me, like, you know, what I need to improve on. Like last year, no, actually 2 years ago, I didn't go up to him about, like, you know, what I need to improve on. I knew what made me take the second place that I took.
Right, right.
So
and
I've been working on
and
that
the Bev's
a little
gym
bit.
there. Shout outs to these guys because they do great job promoting
Oh, really? Good job.
competitors and competition, and then
Competitions, coming up
invite
competitions.
famous people. I was there. I talked to Sadek. I met Jay again there.
Yeah. Rest in peace, George Peterson. One of the, he was really like one of the most like nice people bodybuilders that I ever met in my life. Like every time he seen me there, and legit, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I only been to Bev's probably like 3 or 4 times, and every time, he seen me, he definitely like he remembered me and just like open hands, like you know what I mean. He always says hi and like he's not stuck up.
Right.
Like some
Were you
of-
looking up to him as a role model?
Yeah, because he was at my first show. He was a guest poser at my first show.
Really?
So like, seeing him like first time ever, guest posing, and getting a picture with him, like he definitely motivated me a lot to switch over to I think he was the first one to want me to switch over to classic.
Interesting. So, who is your role model? Like, whose physique you're really inspired by? Ever
Oh,
in
man.
all the athletes in history?
Rough Diesel,
Oh, okay.
Ruffin. Yeah, check him out on Instagram, Rough Diesel. That's like that's one of my favorite posers, classic posers. I love his physique too. My my favorite old school poser, just old school bodybuilding in general, is Dexter Jackson. I feel like
Oh, yeah?
he did some legendary things, man.
Is he still competing?
No, he retired at 50.
Yeah, I know this guy was in Olympia
still
forever.
Tied at 50 his last year, he still was placing top 5.
Yeah.
Killing these young kids.
Incredible
young boys.
longevity in the sport.
Yeah.
But bodybuilding, it's unique actually about it, because all the sports, whether it's football, soccer, gymnastics, whatever you take, these guys have to retire very quickly, right? 30,
They do.
35.
He's,
It's
I
done.
think he's the oldest person to
Even
retire.
people like, oh my God, who's that famous quarterback who just retired recently?
Peyton Manning?
No, doesn't matter. But it happens very rarely that somebody does the sport up to like 40 years old, right? Like in say football and whatever. In bodybuilding, you can improve still at that time.
Yeah.
Actually, there are
Definitely can.
factors that people say that even like count into better physique, like muscle maturity,
Yeah.
that comes in
Yeah.
later in life.
Later in life, I feel like a lot of young 17, 18-year-olds, they don't let their body grow to the full max
Right.
before they start like I
Cutting.
call it the dark side.
Oh.
But yeah, it's like me
Right, because
personally,
there is a huge potential in the muscle growth naturally.
naturally, yes.
And natural bodybuilding, it's also a huge thing. A lot of people don't even want to think about anything else than that.
No, they don't.
And
yeah.
that's a beautiful lifelong hobby.
Yeah.
I really like.
You could definitely make a living off of it. You just have to understand that you will never make a living off of competing. All these bodybuilders, they're making a living off of sponsorships.
Yeah, that's a tough
competing,
part.
Competing is not. You will never make a living off of it. Even being a pro, like getting paid for being a first, second, third placer, you will never make enough money to live off of that. A lot of them just have sponsorships and they have deals. So that's why most of them are successful as they are.
Right.
They make it.
And that's really tough to get in there, because
It
the
is.
competition is insane.
Yeah, because they're looking for a certain physique, or like how popular you are, how much followers you have on
Right.
Instagram, TikTok, whatever. YouTube followers.
Yeah, and that might be like clothing brands
Yes.
or supplements.
Supplements. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's tough, but I wish you get good sponsor, and
I'm waiting on
that's
it.
gonna carry you on to great
No
great
rush, no
success.
rush. It'll come when it comes. You know what I mean?
What do you
God got
think
plans for me.
it's like prime age for male in doing the physique sports?
Um, you could definitely 60.
Okay.
They got 60. They got 60 competition.
60, but what do you mean 60?
Like you talking about like where?
What I'm asking you is like, what do you think is the age
Uh-huh.
that you're gonna be the best at bodybuilding?
Oh, the best. I personally feel like 28, 30.
Oh yeah, and you think
Full-
after that it's already like a
full.
decline after that?
That's when it starts going down. 31, 32 starts going down.
Hmm.
You know.
Because then metabolism is not that good anymore and all that. But yeah,
Let's just
30,
switch over to
maybe
the other
around
side.
30 would be right. But also, what bodybuilding does to people who don't even think about competing, if you do train your muscles, you can really maintain these muscles for another decade or so
Oh, 100%.
without that decline.
Yes.
As were the people who don't exercise after 30, there is really actually decline in your muscle mass. Every decade of your life, you lose some. So that's why it's worth to exercise your muscles. It's very very important.
It's a good idea to know when to shut it off. So what I mean by shutting it off is when lifting as heavy as you do, like, you know what I mean. You gotta know that age limit to where, like, okay, I gotta slow it down a little bit. I can still do this, but I still gotta lower the weight or whatever, because
Right.
it can make you or it could break you at the end of the day. So
So I have a few questions about, because I saw how you exercise, and for example deadlifts, you go heavy.
yeah,
Is this like, okay, is this just your style, or you think that is just necessary if you want to build this physique, you have to go that heavy?
I feel like deadlift is definitely a big part of building that physique that you want, building that back that you want. I only deadlift twice a month.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't do nothing crazy. Like this whole month I haven't deadlift. It's just I'm close to showtime, so like I'm really not trying to put myself at risk. Hurt
Right.
myself. So, but like when I'm off season, yeah, I at least deadlift twice a month.
And is this the only very heavy lift that you do, or you try to go heavy in every exercise that you do?
Every exercise is
Actually, I saw
volume.
your shoulder press. That's also pretty heavy. What did you do? We're doing hundreds?
The most I ever did was 125s for 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Man, you're
that's-
strong.
Yeah,
You're strong.
I feel like it's what works for me. That's how I get most of my pumps going, and I feel like it definitely it just works for me. Like, you know what I mean. Everybody has a different way of working out. Some people, most people, some people like to just lift lightweight, a lot more reps. Me, I like to lift heavyweight, but I'm still keeping that 8 to 10 to 12 rep range.
Right. And then when you train that, like, you go whole training with heavy stuff, or you just hit few sets of heavy and then you just finish with lighter?
Yeah, I do back off. I do like at least one or two back offs. With shoulder press, I definitely do one back off. Same with chest, incline, flat bench. Deadlift, I kind of do like two big lifts, and then I just stop from there,
Right.
because like your body is fully pumped. So when it comes down to deadlift, when you lift the max that you want to go to, then you drop it down to, like, say 405, right? That's
Uh-huh.
your max that you went to. Then you did that for 2 sets of 8 to 10. drop it down to 315. I feel like it's more of a risk because first the weight's gonna get lighter because you're switching over that big of 405 down to 315. So I give it like more of a risk because most people they don't treat the weight like respectful, like, you know what I mean, they don't
Yeah,
respect the
you
weight.
almost like when you go really heavy, you have the mindset that something can happen.
Like, you have the
you really
I got
focus.
this, like, I don't really have to keep my body tight as much as I did on the 405.
Right,
People
right.
get it messed up a little bit with that, and that's how they create injuries.
Yeah, I want to ask you about injuries, but let's stick with the training.
Gotcha.
To be in the shape that you are, how many sets you perform on each training?
4 to 5.
4 or 5 on each exercise, and how many
Sometimes,
exercises
most
you
of the
have?
time 5. Yeah, I do like 5 exercises.
So you have 5. So each of your trainings is around 25 sets.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, and then you train every day.
train Monday through Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. Just get like imagine some volume. That how much work is that?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's a lot of work. And then you do
yeah.
cardio.
I do. Yeah. So I don't do cardio off season, which I'm gonna put it in more. I'm trying to at least like do 10 to 15 minutes of cardio after my workouts. But like now, yeah, I'm doing a crazy amount of cardio.
So it takes a lot of work ethic to be good at this because you have to be very disciplined. You have to be very regular on this,
Yeah.
right? You cannot just skip day here or there. You just gotta go with this.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, your competitor will.
Yeah.
And that's how you lose. So were you always having this work ethic or it kind of developed in you? Did you have
I got
it
this work
instilled from
ethic.
home, or you got like some mentors who help you to develop that, or just naturally you got it?
So I did wrestling for 8 years, and I personally feel like that's what got me this work ethic. Like, never giving up and taking my body to the full max. Seeing where I could go, and it definitely taught me how to not give up and staying disciplined, dedicated to something that
Right.
you put yourself through. So me put myself through that first show. I just wanted to see what would happen if I just take a step back from like real life, just eating whatever I want, to taking a step to like healthy eating.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Goggins, for example, he talks about it when he motivates people. He always says like, "What if? What would
if?
happen if?"
Yes. What if? Like,
Right.
I definitely would not want that. What if? I don't think that way.
Okay.
I just know that
Just give me a
I
second.
could do it.
Guys, you're good to go. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I didn't realize it's already time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we covered quite a good portion of like how the prep for the competition looked like. But can you also tell me, because you mentioned that there's off season and then prep,
Yeah.
just very quickly, briefly, what that is. What is the prep? How long it takes usually, and then we're gonna be wrapping up, and we're gonna
Okay.
be crossing our fingers for you for your competition. All right. So just tell us like what is prep, just very briefly.
So prep is it's like a 14 to 12. You could do 14, 12, 10 to 8 week prep, depending on how big a person is, how much body fat a person has to lose, what division a person is going to. Like, so when it comes down to women and men, women take more long of a prep than men because of how their body reacts to diet, compared to a man, or when it comes down to a bodybuilding compared to a men's physique type of guy. Bodybuilder always gonna need that extra time,
Right.
than a men's physique competitor. So it all depends on like your body shape and how much weight you have on yourself. How much weight you have to take off of yourself. So
All right, Keith. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Guys, if you have any questions about bodybuilding, competition, or how is he preparing to his show, then all the links are gonna be, whether it's gonna be on Instagram or YouTube, I will redirect you to Keith's profiles and follow him. We cross our fingers for his
Okay,
show.
fingers.
You
June 3rd
yeah, you represent the Riverhead here.
in Jersey, Teaneck, at the Teaneck Marriott. If you guys want to come through and show some support,
Yeah, that would be wonderful. If you
That'd
can
be
go,
great.
the competition is fun. It's really like the very joyful day, and it's fun. You can learn about fitness. Usually there are like some supplement
Booths.
companies,
It's booths
booths,
there.
clothing stuff, and you can meet famous people from the fitness industry and all that. So,
Yeah.
good luck, sir. Let's
Thank
catch
you.
up after your competition. Let's see
Okay.
how it goes.
And hopefully we get it. You know?
All right.
Thank you, bud. Thank you for having me.